Good morning, everyone. All right, let me put my phone number while you guys are tuning in. Welcome in. If this is your first time, welcome. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Good morning. Good morning. I'm just trying to put my phone number in here as per usual. 2170. And I'm pinning my phone number. Let's pin. Oh, California in the house. Good morning. It's early. What time is it in California? 7 a.m. Live from Seattle, Invasion Production. Welcome. Good morning. I'm Siobhan. Check your audio because there's definitely sound. I hear people responding to the question I asked. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Island Twins. Good morning. How's everyone doing today? Um, Hope you're all doing well. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome, and thanks for always tuning in. I always love like when I'm in consult and people say, I've been watching you and this is my handle or this is my name on Instagram or YouTube on Facebook, even though most times I can't guess who it is because, a lot of you use different like monikers on your profiles. So I mean, there's certain names that I remember because they comment all the time. So those names I generally remember if they say, oh, I'm this person, but sometimes it's hard to remember everyone on live because I'm usually streaming live on different platforms. But again, if this is your first time tuning in, my name is Aisha Chidole, and I'm an immigration attorney in Atlanta, Florida. I say Atlanta, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia. I used to be in Florida, but in Atlanta, Georgia, I represent clients all over the United States with their immigration matters. We handle family-based immigration, so marriage-based cases, consular processing, children, parents cases, fiancé visas, removal of conditions. So if you have a 2-year green card, you need to get a 10-year naturalization. We also handle denied cases, notices of intent to deny, RFEs, appeals, all of that good stuff. We handle humanitarian-based cases as well. So VAWA cases, if you've experienced extreme cruelty, abuse from your U.S. citizen relative, like a parent, spouse, or a child. We also handle T visa cases, which is human trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking. Which is one area of law that a lot of people don't understand that they might be eligible for depending on how they obtain certain jobs or how they stayed in certain jobs. And then we'll also handle U visas, which is if you've been a victim of a serious crime and you are cooperating with law enforcement and you can get a police certification. With U visas, it's not all crimes. The crime has to be one of the qualifying crimes for you to be eligible for it. So we handle those. We also handle removal proceedings. So if you get a notice to appear in front of an immigration judge for a master hearing, for an individual hearing, if you are detained, we also assist with that. So if you would like to schedule a consultation, you can either comment yes here and someone will reach out to you, or you can call us 678-325-1037 or 678-233-2170. If you use WhatsApp, you can send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751. And if you want to book a consult yourself without calling, you can do it directly on our website, chidolelaw.com. The link is in all of our bios, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And if you have any friends who you think that hearing day-to-day updates on immigration is beneficial, certainly share this live so we can assist them. I see someone tuning in from Arizona. Good morning. I actually lived in Arizona for about 11 months when I first got married. And it's very beautiful, but I absolutely wanted out of there, because it was just so far away from all my family and friends. My husband, was working there and I was like, we need to go. I hate this place, because I moved there for love, but didn't like it. Okay, so, and then Double from New York, that's my home base. Welcome. Good morning, being Mrs. Jet. Marufu Babatunu from Maryland. Good morning. I went to law school in the DMV area. They are recently approving I-130 and denying I-485 because of unauthorized work and overstay because of the new memo. That's not true. Where are you getting that information from? Personally, I've not received any of that for any of my clients, and my clients are attending interviews. So again, be careful the information that you try to get from others online that are strangers that are not actually working in the field. So someone says, how are you doing? Great seeing you as always, and thank you for doing this. Oh, you're welcome. Hey, Ashani, how are you? All right. Let's see. Whenever you guys request to be in my live video, why do you guys request to be in the live video? Like, do you want to be on video? Can you travel internationally with the dismissed misdemeanor charge? It was dismissed before I got my green card. It was dismissed, saying arguments heard, motion granted. I would want to know a little bit more. I don't want to, obviously, to share that on here, your personal business on there, but I'd like to know a little bit more. I do know last year, not me, but a colleague of mine, a client of hers, well, it wasn't a misdemeanor, it was a felony, who had a felony from like 20 years ago. They were already green card holders for 10 years. They traveled, and when they came back, they were detained. Ultimately, that person got released, but they were detained, you know. So it will really depend on what it is when you say dismiss, you know, because some people say dismiss, but the case wasn't, there was actually like a punishment. Like, so the case truly had to have been dismissed, meaning like there was no prosecution, there was no prosecutor, or like nothing. You know, as opposed to in exchange to dismiss your case, you're going to do probation or you pled guilty to something or whatever it is. Like, one would really need to know what it is, you know, to be able to tell. Oh, and one update that I wanted to give you guys, you know, this is what one of the officers said in my client's interview yesterday. One of the requirements now, in the past, if you had a traffic ticket, like speeding ticket, or any of that, all of that stuff, like you didn't need to submit that because, you know, that's usually like civil, like, you know, especially if it's little. But now what they want is documentation when you're submitting your application, proving that you have paid the ticket and the citation. Because what they want to ensure is that you're not a habitual like speeder, or because if you're a habitual speeder, then it means that you don't have good moral character, or you are violating, that you're just a habitual violator of the speeding laws and stuff like that. So if you have speeding tickets, when you are submitting your application, you definitely want to make sure you are submitting the ticket proof that you've made the payment. I've been here since I was 4 years old. I'm 37 now, and I'm married a U.S. citizen. My past relationship, I tried to do that, but the lawyer I used disappeared, so my case got denied. Your case got denied because of your lawyer. Your case got denied because of what you submitted, because your case can't get denied because of your lawyer. Your case can get denied because of what is submitted or what wasn't submitted. So, you know, this is for Kmart. You can schedule a consultation with us. Let us see if you are, one, still in the window to appeal. If there's an appealable option, we for sure will let you know that there's an appealable option. Or two, if you're eligible to reapply, pending your situation with your abusive spouse and when, you know, your abusive spouse, whether you're divorced or not. Like, so it would be good to see the decision and why that decision was made. Desi says, is there any free consultation? No, there's no free consultation. If you want a valuable consultation from an attorney, you should be paying for the consultation. It is $150 for a consultation where we go over your case history, your entry into the United States, all potential immigration applications you submitted, any red flags that we see, what you might be eligible for, and, you know, the way forward. So it is of value. And when you are getting valuable information, you shouldn't have any qualms about investing in that, you know, at least investing in that knowledge. Otherwise, myself and many other lawyers come on here, you know, almost every day, like to give free legal information. So those would be your options. What if a green card holder filed an I-130 for a minor in 2024, how soon before they hear anything? You know, if you file for a minor as an LPR, typically you will be in the family preference category F2B. And generally, when you are in the family preference category, your decisions are going to be made usually closer to when the visa bulletin is available. So let me just pull up the visa bulletin for you so that I can tell you. Yes, so it should be any day now, because assuming you're not from Mexico or India or Philippines or China, F2B, if the person is outside of the country, they are processing, hold on one second, I'm just kind of reading this stuff so I can give it to you. Oh, sorry, you said minor, not unmarried son and daughter. Okay, yeah, so they actually are the same thing except Mexico. So they are processing cases from January 2025 and up. If they're out of the country, you should be hearing a decision anytime soon. You can certainly follow up with USCIS to find out for a decision, depending on if they're at the consulate or if they are here in the US. If they're here in the US, they must be in legal status for you to adjust, because visas are current now here in the US. So if they are in the US, you can actually file an adjustment of status if they are here legally, meaning they're still within the window of entry that was approved by the I-94. The other update that I wanted to provide to you guys was about people who are outside consular processing outside the United States. I told you guys once we get some sort of decision from any of our cases, I will let you know. So we had a client yesterday we actually had a lot of different interviews yesterday. So we had a client, this was for a fiance visa from Haiti. The client had to travel to Bahamas because the embassy, basically the US embassy in Haiti, is essentially not working. Had to travel to Bahamas for the interview. And when the client finished, he was given a 221F based on, they said they cannot make a decision because of the presidential proclamation, which is the ban on Haiti, and that once the ban is lifted, the client can either revive that application or they will reach out to the client. So that's what the paper said yesterday. Some people, if you are from one of the 75 country pause, you might get a 221G, which means basically we can't make a decision now. Your case is being administratively processed, and they will ask you to update it with maybe new financials. So that's the two things that we've kind of seen right now. I've got two interviewing from Nigeria tomorrow, two different scenarios. One is a parent and one is the child of an approved, actually, I have three coming up. So I have these three scenarios, and I'll tell you guys once I get an update next week. One is for a parent, child filing for a parent. The other one is a parent who had a green card through VAWA that their child is doing a follow to join. And the third is for a widow who her US citizen spouse passed away. So they all have interviews. What I suspect is that because Nigeria has a double, so they have the ban and they also have the pause, that they will see a 221F and a 221G, which means, again, until they lift this part, they cannot make a decision. Your I-130 will still remain open, but we'll have to wait for them to lift the ban. But I will let you guys know once we hear anything back from them. Baba says, I had an interview last week. The officer verbally approved my I-130 and told me he can't approve my I-485 because I have an old NTA when I arrived at the border. I was being paroled and I don't have any live immigration court. I'm Ghanaian. It's been a week now, still no official approval for even the I-130. This is the perfect example of when I tell you guys, it does not matter what an officer says. Unless and until you see an actual approval, whatever they say means nothing. Like we're like, oh yeah, I don't see any problem with it. And then tomorrow they're going to send you like this big, RFE or noise. So always wait for an approval, no matter what the officer says. That said, 1 week is a short time. Yes, there are some officers that can move relatively quickly and approve your I-130 within the week, but generally prior to 90 days, you are still in a normal time post-interview to get a decision. That said, if you have an old NTA, truly they cannot approve the 485. That NTA must be, which means that your removal proceedings, that must be terminated. It must be terminated. Whether you're paroled in or not, it must be terminated until that happens, they cannot approve the 485. So you might want to reach out to either our firm or any other removal attorney to see about getting that case terminated so that you can get the I-485 approved. What would be great is having your I-130 approved, which would make it easier for a judge to then terminate the removal proceeding so that USCIS can finish up the process. Okay. Desi says, I filed an I-751. We filed jointly. I found my husband cheating. Now we're processing divorce. The divorce is going to take a long time. What will be the best thing to do to secure my green card? I'm sorry that you found out that your husband was cheating and that you're going through a divorce. I'm sure that's very stressful. But what happens now is go through the divorce. Once the divorce is completed, you're going to need to notify USCIS to amend your filing basis based on a waiver and provide the legal standards of which you are seeking that waiver. You should probably consult with an attorney. You can consult with our firm. You can see our number there. The link is in the bio to schedule one. Now, if you are scheduled for an interview, for instance, and your divorce is not finalized, but it's already going on, you can take it with you to the interview. And what will happen is usually the officer might then issue you an RFE for about 87 days to give time for them to finalize the divorce so that they can then make a decision based on that. Okay? T. Robinson on YouTube says, thank you so much, Aisha Chidoli, for keeping us informed every day. I really appreciate you. By the way, I already did my consultation with Attorney Fatima. I'm so excited to start the process. We love. Oh, yay. Thank you. I love that. And I'll let Fatima know. Okay. Someone is asking, how many letters do you need from friends and family for your I-751? There is no requirement or certain amount. Personally, I think that having at least 2 letters that are detailed goes a long way. Again, if you are going to send an affidavit, or if your friends are going to write an affidavit, or your family, it is important that these are not lazy affidavits of like, oh yeah, I know Jane and John, they're wonderful people. I know they're going to have a wonderful life together. If you need any information, contact me at XXXXXX. That's not usually good enough. Your affidavits should be really detailed about how they know you. I met John, at Top Golf, in 2012, and and then we became friends. We used to hang out at X, Y, and Z location, and then he introduced me to Jane. Some of the places that John and Jane have hung out has been there. We've hung out with our kids, blah, 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 blah. One of the things I observed about their marriage is this, that. I recommend them because, blah, 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 blah. So, you get the spiel. Your recommendations should be very detailed about how each person knows you. And you should never have cookie cutter recommendations where 3 people are recommending and all their letters are basically listing the same things. So I hope that helps. Call your WhatsApp number again. Our WhatsApp number is 404-333-8751. And it is in our profile. So you can click the link in the profile if you're not able to get the number right now. Someone is asking, with a 10-year green card, how long do I have to wait to apply for citizenship? The answer is that it depends. If you got your 10-year green card through marriage or through abuse under VAWA, or through abuse under an I-751 application, the wait time is 3 years. If none of those apply, the wait time is usually going to be 5 years. 3 years from the time you received your green card, and you had to have been married to a US citizen for at least 3 years as well, and you had to have lived in the current location that you live for at least 3 months. 5 years in any other category, okay? How long does it take to get a receipt from a marriage-based case? Um, it depends. It can take anywhere from like 3 to 6, 7 weeks. It just really depends. You know. All right. Let's see what else. Do I need to redo my medical if I already did it in 2025? I haven't filed my AOS yet. The answer is it's going to depend on when you did it in 2025. The forms changed at some point earlier when the new administration came. So what we'll be looking to know is what date did the medical doctor sign it. That will determine whether or not you need to do it. Again, if you guys want to schedule a consultation to find out specifically about your own case, put yes in the comment. Someone will reach out to you. Ashana says $150 is 100% worth it. Thank you. Yes, let them know, guys. This is not a time, I don't like to sound like a broken clock. I mean, you guys have heard it. I remember the day that the announcement came about the memo, about how they're going to be tougher on adjustment of status, which I have an update to that in a second. But I remember last year, there was a video, if you scroll down through my timeline, when I said to people, and I say it all the time, when you're eligible for something, you should be consulting with an attorney to determine eligibility. And if they're telling you, if it's a trusted person and they're telling you that you're eligible, you should be filing. Because what you are eligible for today, you might not be eligible tomorrow. And this is just the nature of immigration, because immigration is very, very political in the United States. And immigration changes depending on who is in office. And so when you are eligible for something, you should. I spoke to a potential client yesterday who has been married for almost 2 years. And they've been in this country for like 15 years. And very, very, very solid case, but just based on fear, she didn't apply. So whatever reason that made her just decide to do the consult and realize like she is literally, like, her case is literally one of the easiest cases, to get approved for a green card, and a 10-year green card at that, which surprised this person. It just goes to show that ignorance sucks, and when I say ignorance could look like so many people giving so many different sound bites. I can't tell you guys how many times I peek at my social media, because when I'm in work mode, I don't go on any of my social media platforms, because it's distracting to me, and honestly, I really don't have any interest in anything else in those timeline other than work, because I'm just too busy, but it's amazing to me how many crazy comments I see where people have no idea, about immigration or how certain things work, and they comment. And I feel sorry for the people who read that and believe that that is the answer. Sometimes I interject to give the correct answer, but sometimes, it's just such, a hassle, like, to correct it all. And you're just like, it's what it is. Like, you hope those people, educate themselves, on it. So it's really, really important that you guys are, making sure that your source of information is accurate and is correct. Again, when you go to places where it's anonymous, like I keep using Reddit or like TikTok, where people have alias names, you don't know who they are, you can never corroborate their story. Please do not take that, as the ultimate rule unless you have verified it from a verifiable source. As I've told you guys, I will never bring to you speculative news. There's enough stress in the world, there's enough confusion in the world, that unless it becomes the rule, I'm not jumping up here. I'm not a newscaster. I didn't sign up to be a breaking newscaster, even though this administration is forcing us to give breaking news. The point of what I'm saying is that I am only giving news as the news becomes effective. I'm not giving you speculative, what I think it's going to be, speculation of what the rumor mill says. It must be happening for me to tell you, because we have enough of that going on. All right. Okay. Do you deal with employment agreement issues? No, I don't deal with employment agreement issues, but well, right now, I actually used to practice business law. I do still do intellectual property. For those that may not know, I'm actually also an IP trademark attorney. I don't take a lot of cases there, but like this is my first love and an area that I love, helping business owners who have businesses and want to protect their brand or trademark. So I also handle that nationwide, but not employment-based cases anymore, because employment is local, and I used to handle that like in Florida, like for corporations and stuff, but I just don't do that part anymore. Okay, guys. I filed for VAWA only. I'll answer this question a minute ago. I filed for VAWA only in 2024. Is it possible to file for work permit now? You can file for a work permit only if you're eligible to file for a work permit. And I wouldn't know that without speaking to you, knowing your husband's or wife's status, knowing your immigration history, whether you're removal and stuff. So definitely schedule a consultation, and I'll be happy to go over your case. All right, guys, I gotta go. I can hear phone calls, so I gotta go. Bye.